Material UI components. So in material UI components, as I told you, hundreds of components will be there. So you can explore all those components and try them, how to use one by one, because once you are aware of bootstrap like concept, these components also similar, but they are all React native. So you can implement and use in your project. Level, people face problem with the dependencies, because even the documents they provide as help, sometimes they don't immediately guide that error will come, how to resolve that error, what dependencies are required. Sometimes those are missing in documents. Then we have to manually track where the problem is and we need to resolve. I will show another component so that you can understand that it is not just simply using a component with a tag name. There are a lot of things to handle for a component. I will show you one say basic point. Yesterday we designed and we saw difference of how a button looks like, how a text box looks like in material. Now you can use all these components MUI in a material UI. So I will show one more component. Based on that you try others. Actually, in order to learn about any component, the process I will tell you. So the basic process for learners, first point is you have to to know about any component. What are the key things you need to follow? First is go to docs in MUI. Documents, and to know about any component you have to first explore the API, component related API. Actually, you see here, we will go to the docs category here. In the docs category, so material UI documents. Here you will find components and component API. This is where you will know about every component in detail. That means how a component works, what are its properties, everything you can get here. Actually, this is providing samples to you, like how a component looks like, how it works. But to know cleanly before using any component, you can come here. So first thing, when you go here, you can see all components will come. So accordion actions, details, summary, alerts, title, app bars. I hope you know these are already there in your Bootstrap also. Bootstrap also have accordions, models, nav bars, everything. Here, so many components are present. 100 in numbers will be there. Now, it's as I already told you, it's not like somebody teaches you all this. According to your requirements, you need to use them. Almost several components are same like Bootstrap. You have a badge in Bootstrap. You have breadcrumbs in Bootstraps. You have cards in Bootstrap. Same. But what is the point is these are all designed with React, and they will perfectly fit into your React, and you can customize according to your, but still they are not satisfied every time. That means some features that we want they don't have, then we have to again borrow from another third party. So you can try all these components, how to work with them and how to use them. Now first thing is, suppose I will show you here. You know already we have card. Here you select a card. You can see it will show you information about the card. What a developer should know about any component. The basic things is, so in API, to use any component, in API to use any component, you have to look for, so one is library to import, and second one dependencies. Here some components require additional dependencies to install. You have to install extra dependencies again. Some components require additional dependencies to install. That means you installed MUI, Material UI. In Material UI, button, text box, all these will come. But some components require extra libraries to install again. That means what you installed as material is not enough. You need to install extra library. And if you miss them, it cannot work. I will show you how it is done. Let's take another component here. So you see, these are all the component related details. How to use the component. You see, this is the component related look. Means how a card looks like. Already we designed such cards for presenting data. You see, the card looks like this. Here additionally you see the card have these buttons, header, and the card is having the actions. You click the button, it will open. Again you click, it will open and close. You know this, that's not a new thing. What is it? Collapse. In Bootstrap you use a collapse. The collapse combination is used. So, but you will find here little attractive, more style, some more effective, but they are not new to us. If you are aware of Bootstrap, already what Bootstrap is there here also. But here you need to know some additional properties. What properties are used, how they are used. You can get all the information from where? API. You have to go to the API, and from API you have to implement. I will show you some additional components, how they work, extra components, and how they are going to work. Because see, as I showed you buttons and all, these all are very simple to try. You can easily handle them. You just explore them. You will see the component name, property names, and you can implement. Suppose you have an alert, you know how the alert properties are. To see how alert works, you see this is an alert window. You can see that this is an alert. These kind of alerts we have in Bootstrap also. How to use Bootstrap alerts? Generally, to use Bootstrap alerts, let me show you here. So, to use Bootstrap alert, what we have to do? So, we need to just keep a div, and in the div, we need some function. What is it? So, we need a heading like delete record, and the paragraph is record will be deleted, and we have an anchor, some help. Href is hash, and I want this as an alert. Then already Bootstrap we have. What you do? We have an alert class, class name. We have alert, alert danger, alert dismissible. If it is alert dismissible, you put a button. This button will have a btn, btn close. You done all this, and a alert looks like this. You can make it work also. How do we make it work? Usually for that you have to import in index.js. You have to import a Bootstrap related script also. Bootstrap related script you have to import. Then you can use it. How to import Bootstrap script? You have Bootstrap CSS and Bootstrap icons. How to import Bootstrap script? So we have import. So import actually Bootstrap. So import Bootstrap, import all actually. Import asterisk as Bootstrap from Bootstrap. So we have a Bootstrap library. If you want any one component, you can import it, like import alert, import button, import carousel, like that. Import all from Bootstrap. If you imported all from Bootstrap, now what you can do here? In this, you can use the Bootstrap attributes. What are the Bootstrap attributes? On button, data, BS, what it is? Dismiss, dismiss, dismiss what? Alert. Data BS dismiss alert. Actually, what is that data BS dismiss? When you click on close, it will close. Already you know this. We can simply implement the Bootstrap. Now, what MUI is doing similar, they are providing. You can see MUI also have the same, but their components are alert and all these different color shades, effects, and they have the functionalities. You see with icons, Now this is the functionality. On click on close, it will close. On reopen, it will open. And what is the close logic for this? It is not database dismiss. You can check the code. You have show code option. You can check the code, and in the code you can see alert is using a state open. Open is what? True. It is having a boolean value true. That means usually on close. When user click close, it will close. How it happens? Just on click set open is what? True. This is for the button. On button click set open true, it will open. Actually set open is an attribute here. This is alert, and alert you see on click of which icon this is close. This is an close icon button. Close icon button on click set open will be what? False. That means on close click it will close. And generally we use our own buttons, and here we have icons. We can use the icon, we can create, and we can click. The functionalities are similar, but this all belongs to what? This all belongs to React Material UI. Everything works with your Bootstrap also. Models, accordions, collapse. So you saw card have a collapse. You know how to design a collapse, right? So usually how we create it. Suppose we want a model. So login, and we have like class name btn success, and we have a container, and in the container we have a class model fade id is suppose login, and you know how to design all these things we love. So this is model dialog, and we have a model header, model content. Inside model content we have a model header. Inside model header we have a heading, some user login, body, and all these we design. And what are the attributes? Database what? Toggle is what? Model. Database target is what? Hash login. That means what it is going to do, on login click it will open a login model. These are all same thing you can implement, just you have to import the Bootstrap. Actions you know already, you done in Bootstrap. So how to design carousels, how to design navbars and all. So usually you have to implement the same process, but here if you want to design a model, then you don't use these divs anymore. What you do? In MUI you want to design a model, then no need of creating such lengthy hierarchy. Just you can use a model. So you can use a model. It's a component. In this component you just put the attributes, like what title you want, what content you want. That means they provide simplified ways of design. What is the problem with Bootstrap? A complex design is required. Here ready-made designs, just you need to put it, customize according to your requirement, titles and all. That means only the difference you will find here is how a component you used earlier, like we designed Netflix header, Netflix main, Netflix register. Similarly, you just import the component and use. You try all these components, and if there are any issues, let me know, because these are the concepts that you have to try. These are not for explaining or you are learning, right? So try them. Uh, one more complex I will show you here. So to use Bootstrap as it is, you have learned what you have to do. I will give a note here to use Bootstrap components, Bootstrap components with the interactions, because previously we have only CSS. With interactions, you have to import Bootstrap's library into index.js. How do we import Bootstrap library into index.js? We have to import asterisk as Bootstrap from Bootstrap. And you know how it works now. That means you can use attributes. What are the attributes you can use? Database target. Remember, our Bootstrap latest is 5. So 5 and other versions have a lot of changes. Companies may be still using Bootstrap 4. It changes different. Bootstrap 5 have several new things. Actually, in old versions, it is data target. Here it is data BS target. Data target, data toggle. So data BS dismiss. So data BS parent, data BS theme. So all such attributes are possible to use when you import that Bootstrap. Make sure that you have imported the Bootstrap in index, then you can use them. So one extra component I will show here. Some complex things we will see. Any another one? For example, in the material UI components, MUI components, let's explore here MUI. You see, in MUI, they have given already the components list. I asked you that you try all these components, you try them. I told you that these people provide not only design but also performance. You can go here and you can try MUIX. These are easy because these are all related to design. These are related to performance. Performance and little complex functionalities. What are those? MUIX, user experience. Here you have data grids, date pickers and all. When we design one project, like, we will implement some of these components, right? As of now, see now, I will go to this MUIX date pickers. You see, they provide a date picker. In the date picker, you see this is a date calendar. It pops up, say calendar, you can select a date and it will display. Because already generally when you are dealing with HTML date picker, they allow to select only one date. Range of dates are not allowed. Here they are providing a date range picker also. That means you can select from start date to the end date you can choose. But I will show you what is complexity in implementing this. These are huge components. I am showing you date picker. There are date pickers, data grids, charts, tree views. So data grid means a grid will display like this. This is nothing but displaying data in a tabular form. And what is the specialty? It allows actions like filtering the data, sorting the data. But at certain level, they are not enough. We need more. We want insert, update, delete, like operations in a grid. First, you will learn how to create such grid manually. We will do. Then we will implement on some ready-made options. We will learn CRUD operations, how to do with a database. Then we can use these ready-made. Let's see one example detailedly now. I will show you a component. Yesterday we saw MUI. Now today I will show you MUI X. One component we will see. We will see how to use MUI X is nothing but it provides components with UX, user experience. So actually it comprises of complex use cases that affect the performance of application. Performance of application. So we have to just implement them. So in that you have like data grids, you have like date picker, you have like charts, you have like previews, so many other. Actually these people provide only few as free, others you have to buy. So we will see one example how to use a date picker, how we can implement a date picker. Let's see one example of date picker, how to create it. Because they are complex components, you cannot simply use just with MUI. You need so many installation. So first you have to make sure that install MUI with the emotions library. Already yesterday I given that. You installed MUI with emotions library. So already we have an MUI library installed. Yesterday I given the process how to set up that. After that is already there, now to use the date picker, you need more libraries to set up, install. Because these date time pickers depend on lot of globalization. That means culture, local time zones and all. That's the reason they need lot of dependencies. You go here and see in the date picker, date and time pickers. So first important to use the date and time picker, you see this is the library you need to set up. That's the library you need to set up. You see here, so they are giving date library. And these libraries are required. These you need to import and set up. Here they will give you the concepts about dependencies. Actually, you see, these are dependencies. That means any of these dependencies must be installed in order to use. If you miss these dependencies, it cannot work. That means even the documentation is available, it's difficult to understand for a learner. Very carefully, you need to check all the dependencies. If I show you this, you will understand, right? So now, first thing, what you have to do is, let's get started here. First, you have to install extra libraries here. What is that you need to install? You need to set up date pickers, and you need one dependency. What is the dependency? DJS. Some companies, they use other dependencies, like, so you saw the other dependency. What is the other dependencies? They use other dependencies like, so moment. You will see several companies are using this moment. Actually, it is a very popular JavaScript library for date formats, date and time formats. That means you learned how to present date. When you learned how to present date, you learned date functions, to local date string, to local time string, to string, like that. They are not enough to display. You have to construct your own formats. For that, these people provide support. You can create your own custom date format for presentation. So it is not mandatory that everyone have to use the first one or second one. Depends on their requirement. But you need any one of these dependencies. So I will give you that point here now. First point is, you install this emotions library. Already we installed now. This is the installation. You install the emotions library. This already we done. After that, install date UI UX library with any dependency like day.js or moment.js, like that. So because they need some dependencies like that, you have to set up that. And how to install the library, I will give here. So date picker, another one is day.js. npm install day.js. These two you need to set up. Any dependency like day.js or moment.js, like that. All are not required. So first you need date pickers library to install. After that, this. Remember, these are not ordinary components. These are more complex components. Ordinary components are button, radios, checkbox, alerts, nav bars. Those are ordinary. These are complex concepts. They need extra libraries to set up and install. Okay, let's do this in our project. So we are setting up in our project here. We already installed Material UI. Now we will install this. One is MUIX date pickers. We are installing this. So MUIX date pickers requires one dependency. Okay. Now another dependency is DayJS. NPM install DayJS. These two we are setting up into that. Now, how we can use this date picker in the project? Let's see. Once it is set up, now what are the dependencies here? You see now, it is saying that you need another engine to set up. Lot of such dependencies will be there. That means already we have MUI, emotions and all. But it says that this component is a complex one. It have more styling libraries. For that you need a separate styling engine. If you miss any of these, then it will not work. So that is the reason it is not easy to implement just by reading these documents, because even they given all of them, some dependencies will be missing again. You have to check what you missed, where you missed, and set up them, right? I will show you here. Okay, first let's install another one. So actually another point is MUI, MUI and UX components use additional styles which require style engine to set up. You have to set up this one. NPM install MUI styled engine. You need to set up the styled engine. So this is additionally required for UX components. So let's put that here. I will add that also. And we are installing MUI styled engine components. So once you set up, let's check.
Recording
you
in
are
progress.
using, you have to import localization provider from date pickers, adapter from adapter.js, and you have to use the localization provider. We know providers. I told you already. In use context, we created a provider and injector. I told you all these additional services requires provider's injector. Provider means locates it in the memory. That means a localization provider is required, which have to look for data adapter. You have to first install this adapter. Already we installed it. It is present in which location? It is in date pickers. And you have to locate this adapter. Then you can use your components. That means to use the components, you have to set up these adapters. This is important. Then only you can use the date picker. These adapters we need to set up. Let's see how we can use it. So what we are doing now, we need to set up two providers, date and time components of MUI UX require providers. So actually two providers are there. One is localization provider. Another one is adapter JS. So you need to import the providers into your index.js. You have to import the providers into index.js. Remember, you need to keep this in touch regularly, because you cannot say that I will remember this process and I will do. After few days they may change. That means some libraries may change, some new adapters may come. Then you cannot just stick to this process every time. That means until few days this is okay, guarantee. But after 1-2 months you may get a new adapter. You may get some changes, because these UI UX components, they regularly change. They don't have stable functionality, because some developer will find some bug in it, and automatically to resolve the bug they add some new feature into it, because these are all continuously extending components. They are not like seized, like okay, this is final functionality. They are not seized. They will be keep on extending with features. That's the reason some new features may be added in the next level versions. Again, you need to come check what is required for that. Okay. So here you have to import. How do we import the provider in index.js? These two are required. These two you need to import. Localization provider from UI.js, and the provider should use, this is the localization provider. It should use the localization provider. This you have to configure. So this is enough. Just I will give this one. That means a localization provider uses a date adapter. Date adapter comes from adapter.js. Actually, this is not standard. As I told you, some companies will use localization provider with a different adapter called Moment. It uses Moment, or other providers will be there. They can use. Several people use that Moment regularly for date. because it has good features when compared to adapter day.js. Means customized date formats and all, they provide better options. Anyone is enough, both are not required. So you have to make sure that you have imported this. Let's see, I am using these in our page. So let's go and add this provider. We have to set up in index.js. We are importing them in index.js. Okay, now here it should use the localization provider. It should use the localization provider. And in the localization provider, we have to use an date adapter. It comes from where? Adapter day.js. That means now the components that run inside this scope only can use the date pickers. Outside that scope, they cannot use. Already we learned context. So which component can use the context which runs within the context? So make sure that your components are configured within the scope. Now, once you define this, now we need to use the date adapter here. How to use the date adapter? They given a date picker. We have to set up the date picker. So some issue is here. So no issues are there. Okay, empty. Now let's go. Here we need to just set up. I'm using a data list and a data term, some departure, and we need to keep a date picker. Then we have a date picker. Date picker we are having. So date picker we are using. This is the date picker from UI X date pickers. That is the date picker available. And you see the date picker is ready. Date picker, date range pickers, time pickers. You can see the list of API. They have so many, you can use them. And you select here, it is going to use. I use a date picker. Usually you have so many others inside this component library. What it is? Date range picker. So date range picker. So date range. Date date range picker is there. Which one they are having? Let's check. In their component library, yeah, date range component is there. This is a date range picker. This is date range picker. And this date range picker is again, you see, date range pickers are this. In the date range picker, so usually you see this is the date range picker. These are all the components we are having. We can select a range of dates. And different types are there. And you see the code here. And what is it using? Localization provider is there, adapter is there, date range pickers from date range pickers pro library. That means we will import the date range picker. So here we will import that date range picker. So import, we have date range picker. We haven't installed that. So we haven't installed that library at the net what? MUI. So this is X date pickers. Pro is not installed. Actually, it is given as a paid service. Pro means it's a paid service. We haven't installed the Pro service. Okay, let's use this one only. This enough, right? I'm just using a date picker because actually the pro features are paid. We cannot freely use them. You have to buy them and use them. But anyhow, if you can try this, then this is enough. You try the free ones. I hope now you can try this one. You try this one. Charts are there. You try this one. That means how you design charts. So you try this. Different types of charts will be there. Pie charts, bar charts and all. Actually, these days in majority of React interviews, they ask designing of dashboards. Dashboards means when user logs in, his summary will come. That means what activities he have done recently. If it is an education or other websites, usually it shows how much percent marks he gained, what exams he appeared, all those things. These graphs and charts are very popular. Now I showed date picker. You try these charts. Just they will give you the data values related to the charts. You have to just explore and check what are the dependencies required, and you have to install them and you have to try them. Grid I will show you when we are learning with data binding. With backend database, I will create grids and we will not only MUI, we will try other third party grids also, so that they are more better in performance than these. And so it is your job to explore and learn these components and implement them. I just given only one process, right? I will give an example code here, MUI demo.jsx. Here I am just giving this date picker. Just we are having a simple date picker. Others are not required. And make sure that in index you have done this. Here we have to use MUI demo. That is the component that you have to implement here. So this is to create good interfaces and to work with responsive interfaces. We need this one, but it's not guarantee that every company will use MUI. As I already told you, some companies use Telerik. So third parties, they choose depending on their requirement. So even you perfectly learned everything about MUI, you will not see MUI everywhere. You will see, I will show you lot of Microsoft based technologies companies, they prefer using Telerik actually. Suppose I show you here, suppose a .NET developer is there. .NET developer is there. Telerik, I will search here. You see, majorities here, uh, yeah, React JS combination. So third parties, everywhere third parties are not there here. Telerik is one you will find. Just we will search for Telerik here. This is, you see now, here, these are all .NET developers actually. .NET developers roles you can see here. And you see the knowledge of Kendo. Kendo belongs to Telerik. Kendo. Telerik calls its library as Kendo. So Kendo, this is Telerik. So almost people working on Microsoft technology, they use this Telerik as a third party. This is very popular for that because Microsoft is officially customer of Telerik. They are the official customer of Telerik. And if you are working for companies, you see the demos, these people will provide React, Kendo React. That is the library they provide. And you see here also same are there. Hundreds of components will be there. And the date pickers are provided here also. Date, calendars, everything, charts provided here. Now the point is which one your company uses, nobody knows, right? That's the reason once you explore and learn one library, you can manage others. Just you have to check what syntaxes and all they have given, right? So majority, these two are very popular. One is MUI, another one Telerik, right? We will try to implement these in our examples now in future. All these components, we will try to put them. Now, once you are good with components, that means till now you learned about components, built-in components, custom components, ready-made components, and our own components. Now, the major concept is in React, that is routing. So, another important concept you need to know in React is routing. So, what is routing? How this routing works? It's a big concept. Actually, routing is a technique. So, routing is a technique used in web applications to configure user and SEO friendly URLs. So routing is a technique used in web applications to configure user friendly SEO friendly URLs. That means what is the main aim is users can query any content easily from URL. So SEO, search engine optimization, can find the exact location of user in a page. That means routing enables two basic facilities. One is user friendly URLs, SEO friendly URLs. User friendly URLs are nothing but user can query any content easy. SEO friendly URLs so that search engines can exactly know what he is using. This helps search engines to identify the user's location, what queries he is doing, and it's very easy for that. Actually, you see how this is generally. Observe carefully now. We have some site like Amazon. In Amazon, I want some watches related information. Then you will find watches related information means you will go to toolbar, you will go to categories, or you will use a search box. But in the URL of Amazon, you put a slash and type watches, it will get watches related information. That means people technically who know how these sites are built, they can do faster because they know the tricks. That means for a person who is not technical, you give a topic and ask him that go to Google, search for this topic and get the information. He may take 1 hour time to get the correct information. After searching for 1 hour, he may get that. And a professional person who knows how search engine works and who knows how it filters the data, he can get in 1 minute. That means you search for 1 hour and you get that information, and professionals can get it just in 1 minute. That and professionals get information in such a way that you never find them on Google. That means, what do you think you are searching on Google means? Is Google showing everything? No. Do you know how much it is providing you? That means, for example, suppose we are searching Google. In Google, we are searching for some React JS something, and you see React JS came, and see how many results it has given. And important is, these many results it has given for searching for 0.28 seconds. How you can make this search for more? You don't know. Do you know if it searches for more, then it will get more details? That means what you know is just type in box and hit enter, right? But there are so many things here which makes professionals to exactly go dive into the content and make use of more of this content. There are so many points like that. So what is the intention of our routing is configure the URLs in such a way that it is very easy for querying and it is easy for search engines also, SEO friendly and user friendly. Earlier, URLs used to have like this. For example, what happens here is, see, http://www.amazon.in/electronics dot some php or JSP, and in that question mark, so category is equal to mobiles, and again ampersand, so the model is equal to some Samsung, like that. This is how it used to have. Now with routing, the URLs will be like amazon.in slash electronics slash mobile slash Samsung. That means a clean simplified URL so that you can easily query what you want. You may not know about it, but these queries will be working in the background when you are choosing. And if you know these, you can directly query. That means I showed you just now. We use a slash watches, watches will come. That means any complex content you can directly query. Earlier like this, now this makes simplified. This is good for SEO friendly, another one user friendly. Not only that, what is another point about routing in here is, actually routing uses implicit AJAX in React. It uses implicit AJAX in React. What is the specialty about this is, so new details are added into page without reloading the page. So that means, so it is used to design, spa. That means it is used to design a spa environment. Spa environment is nothing but single page application environment, single page application environment. What is meant by single page application environment? User will stay on only one page and gets everything onto that page. User will stay on only one page and can get access to everything onto that page. Earlier, user have to navigate from one page to another, home page to log in to success. But now user will stay on one and gets everything into that. That is the concept. So routing is an important technique for web applications so that you can configure SEO friendly, user friendly URLs. Actually, routing can be defined server side and client side. Both are there. That means routing is not only for React. All technologies of web currently using routing. Routing is not just a concept of React. Routing is a concept of web development. Actually, in web development, there are so many techniques. There are so many techniques in web development. Actually, in web development, you have techniques like data binding. We learned style binding. Like what? Class binding. Like what? Event binding. Like routing. Like caching. Like state management. These are all techniques actually. We have like model binding. These are all techniques. Web development is all about these techniques. And remember, you ask any web developer of any technology in the world, Java, .NET, PHP, Python or Angular, React, every application have this. Every application will have this. It's not just only for React or Angular or somebody. Every web application means they have to implement. They have to implement data binding, style binding, class event binding, routings, caching, state management, model binding. These are all techniques. Now, different techniques for different purpose. And routing is used by everyone. Modern web applications are using routing technique for configuring SEO friendly and user friendly UI. And we are now currently implementing this routing client side, not server side. Server side also routing will be there. Server side routing you can try in APIs. Actually, in API it is there. Have you observed? We are using fake store. So how fake store works you saw? So http fake store :/fake store api.com/products/category name. Am I right? That's routing. That is routing, na? We say some jewelry like this. If routing is not there, how it should be? https fake store api.com/?what products. Here we say page is equal to what? Products ampersand. So that means we will put an ampersand, and category is equal to what? Jewelry, like that. It becomes a lengthy one. However, now we will use both of them. Depending on the situation, we use both of them. Let's see. Actually, what is server side and client side routing? Client side routing enables user to access everything from one page. Enables users to access everything from one page. So as I already given, new details are added to page without reloading the page. So React implements implements routing from React Router DOM library. From React Router DOM library. It implements routing from a library called React Router DOM. And actually, React Router library have two major versions. So we have React Router DOM V5 and V6. Two are there. React Router DOM V6 is there. And up to V5, it is used for React 17 versions. And from React 18 onwards, we are using V6. And important is version 6 of React Router DOM is complete rewrite of library. So it is not advanced to V5 version 5. It is complete reconstructed. That means any person who learned React previously, so with version up to 17, his routing and 18 version people routing is different. Complete library changed. That means how you write, what you import, everything changed. That means a complete reconstruction of routing library happened. That's the reason if you are working with React up to 17, routing is different. Even library is different. That means what you import, how you write is different. React 18 is completely different because React 18 is using version 6. In version 6, complete reconstructed. That means they removed all the old and they redesigned it again. That's the reason for a person who already knows React, old version, he don't know the new routing until or unless he explores and all this. And the new people's routing will have an issue in old versions. That means you have to know the technique of both. I will show you how we handle. Actually, the latest version of React Router DOM is versions. So this is the official. And remember, it is not inbuilt available with React. You have to separately install and use routing. This is React Router DOM. This is the React official Router DOM library. This is their router. Yeah. This is React Router official website. This is official. And important is this is completely new, as I told you, version 6. And this is the old version. This is version 5. And if you look at version 6 and version 5, complete different. That means so many changes they have made, even from importing library. So I will first explain you the latest which we have installed. Right, later I will show you the old syntaxes because our project is not suitable currently for old because we set up with 18, so we have to set up with 6. First we will see latest routing, then we will see the old, what changes are there in that. Right, now in this routing, to use this routing we have to set up the routing library. So what you have to do is install React Router DOM into project. You have to set up like this: npm install React Router DOM and save. This will install the latest version of routing. Now We will see how do we build it. So we have to learn how to build the environment for routing. All these days, what you are doing, you are not implementing routing. That is the reason you are practicing different examples. Every time you have to go to index and put that in the startup. Now, not necessary. Now you can design one page. From there, you can access everything. That means you click on one example, that will open, second example it will open. That means you don't need to regularly change your index anymore. You put one startup, from there you can access everything. So that we will see now. That we will see tomorrow. And tomorrow we will start learning how to build a single page application. On that we can design the complex examples. Okay, tomorrow we'll continue with that. Remember, routing is a very big concept. Lot of topics are there. No hurry. Level by level, we will explore all the concepts. Right? Tomorrow we'll see.
ले वीडियो ना हो रहा है बंद कर ले वीडियो हो गया हो गया यहाँ पे बंद कर ले